Hi, welcome to Tea Time with Amie and Bev.
Good morning.
What's up, girl?
Just enjoying our couple of days of warmth that we have.
Our bipolar weather.
Yes. And I say enjoying our couple days, right? A lot of people would love to be in the temperatures that we have, even when it's cold outside. So
Exactly.
even with the wind,
Yes.
they'd be like, that's nothing.
Yeah, for sure. Anything happening in your world?
I would just say always growing. Like we're always growing. Sometimes whether we like it or not, but we're always growing.
That is a true statement, whether we like it or not.
Yeah. I hear a speaker
Anyway.
this morning, and we've talked about, writing stuff down and so you can release it like a full moon and all that stuff, and which you can do all the time. And then I heard it this morning as go ahead and write those letters. Write that letter to Congress, write that letter to that person that angered you or whatever. Write those letters, but then you just get rid of them afterwards. You don't send them. They're just letters that you write and don't send.
Right.
Which of course we would say purge it, rip it up, it's just a matter of putting that out, how you felt about things. And then of course, when we do put a lot of stuff in writing like that, we start seeing what's the possibility, or what would I like to see? What's the opposite of this? So it goes back to the whole same thing. If you feel like you're being suffocated, then you see yourself with being free and open and, breathing fresh air. It's the opposite of where you're at. So that's something that kind of I reflected on this morning when I was listening to it. It was like, okay, that's another, it's the same thing that we say, but it's another way of saying it.
Yeah. Yeah. So for anybody who's new to us, we talk about writing and burning. That's a process I use. Of course, if you burn something, you want to be very safe and aware. But yeah, expressing. So when a person or situation comes up and it causes discord within yourself, it stirs up anger, fear, judgments, criticisms, guilt, shame, all the low vibrational emotions. If it stirs up any of that, then you get a pen and paper and you say, dear so and so, and you just start writing. This is the experience that happened. This is how it made me feel. This is how it's made me show up in my life. This is how I get triggered. I mean, all the blaming stuff, right? All of the pointing the fingers that they did this to you, and so now you're affected by it. And this is the effect it had on you. So cause and effect. And so you just get all that, move that emotion. So emotion is energy. Motion is energy in motion. So we want to move that energy, that emotion, that low vibrational emotion from the physical body, from your head, physical body, to paper. And it's just a shift in energy. And then what I like to do is once I feel like I've exhausted everything that I can in that moment, doesn't mean there's still stuff there that I can do later, but in that moment, then I take that and I burn it. I don't even reread it. I just take it and burn it. So I don't feel like I need to read it over it and make sure I got all the stuff, because I know there'll be a time when the rest of the stuff will come to surface, and that's okay. But yeah, and then I call in my angels to help me transmute it back to love. And that again, shifting the energy of that emotion that's in that letter, and release it. So I just wanted to go over that real quick to give people perspective.
It's true though. It goes right along with everything else. And then it's like, also, as you were saying that stuff, it's also writing down the stuff that feels good. Like write down the stuff. We've discussed this before. It's bringing forth, you're writing your own story every single day. You're the author of your story. You're the artist of your painting. You're the whatever you want to look at. You're the director of your movie. Like we're all those things. And it's also not looking at all the stuff that's maybe doesn't always feel good, but it's also giving appreciation to those times that do feel good, even putting into writing, like really feeling that emotion. And who knows what you'll do with it. But I mean, it's like, it's just a matter of, it's just another way of feeling that appreciation. So go back to We've talked about journaling. Journaling is huge. Journaling I haven't done on a regular basis. I do now. I do it more often now than I don't. Because there's just so much you can write about it. And it's like, I can write about dreams that I had. You can write about what you would like to see in the world, or how you'd like to see your life, or if you're having a situation, you could write down that and find a solution in that whole thing by just putting it on paper, because you're getting it out of yourself, and you can see it from a higher perspective. There's just so much of a benefit to writing this stuff down and burning it or tearing it up, or just journaling. There's just so much that creates a communication with yourself, which is huge, because if you have communication within, then you have communication on the outside of yourself too, with everybody you interact with. There's such a benefit to all the stuff that comes about just from journaling.
Yep.
Which has been your practice for a long time.
Yeah. So the way I do things is, the writing and burning is to move the low vibrational emotions, to get that moved out of my body. The journaling to me is to maybe use it as an expression of yourself, of what you experienced throughout your day. And then a gratitude journal, where you can incorporate that in your journaling, but have some kind of a gratitude list, which is an expression of what experiences you had that day that stimulated gratitude. And that I suggest doing at least 3 to 5 things to be grateful for that day, because that actually programs our subconscious mind to look for things to be grateful for, because we are beings who, we look towards the drama, we look towards the problems. And if we're focused on that type of stuff, then that is affecting our energy, it's affecting our manifestation, it's affecting our point of attraction. And when you're training your mind to look for things to be grateful for, then you're gonna be, just focused more on the good stuff, pleasant stuff, pleasant experiences. And because you're gonna when it happens, you're gonna be in a space of, oh, I gotta remember to write that down. Well, one thing you to do is grab your phone and use your notepad and just make a quick note, just a few words, so you remember what the experience was. So when you get your journal that evening or the next morning, you can write it down. So, but that is a way to program your mind to look for things to be grateful for, and keep you in that energy of that momentum of the point of attraction to receive more goodness. So that's what, yeah, that's one of the things I do every day, is I open my arms up wide and I say, I'm open to receive goodness, right? That's my natural state of being. So I'm open to receive that. And so there you have it. Lesson for today.
There you go. And it's something so simple, really. So if you're guided towards writing things down or keeping a journal, and you've been getting these messages, if you're guided towards yoga or meditation or any of those things, it's easier for you to follow through and listen to it now, instead of when it slaps you in the face and it becomes something that you don't have any other choice but to do that. Because it gets, our messages, we can hear our messages if you slow down enough to hear them, but a lot of times we get busier and busier to keep ourselves from sitting there dealing with our messages or hearing our messages. And the more that we ignore it, the louder it gets. Just like in your body. Your body is just a big messenger for you. It's just letting you know, hey, I've got a message for you. My foot's hurting right now. Well, what does that mean? Oh, because I'm having a failure to move forward. I'm staying stuck in the situation or in a mindset or whatever it is. I'm having neck pain. Oh, because I feel like I'm carrying the weight of the world. Well, it's not my responsibility to carry the weight of the world. It's not my responsibility to carry everybody else's sadness and anger and needs and desires, because that's how they create. So it's like we've got all these wonderful tools, which we discussed this. We have plenty of wonderful tools that are constantly guiding us. And it's this pain that we get is not an enemy. The sore throats we get is not an enemy. It's just another way of the body giving us messages. And we can either like be like, oh, my body's got a message for me today. Or we can be like, oh, I'm going to be angry all day long and pissed off because I got this headache or because my throat's hurting and blah. And you just want to, everybody in the world needs to feel just like you right that second. Not that saying that that's how everybody feels, but that's a dramatic point of view. But it's just, I'm just getting the point across.
Right. And the message is, I need love in this area. You've been ignoring me. You've been thinking this certain way. You've been focused on the drama. You've been distracted from from yourself. We need some love. And so I'm going to show up in your body to help you give more attention to yourself and love yourself through whatever it is you've been distracted with. And that's so true.
It is
so true. It's just a manifestation in the body that you need to direct more love to yourself in whatever way it's showing up.
It's like your inner child's like waving, hey, I'm right over here.
Yeah.
Come give me some attention.
Hello. Yeah, they let you know to not forget about them. Your little girl, little boy inside. Yeah. They let you know.
Oh yeah.
They make themselves aware.
Yeah, or a temper tantrum ensues. So it's like the same thing. It's like you can take the time to listen to it when it's coming through and peaceful. And that's, for me, that took a while to get to that point. Not that it's saying that everybody else has to take a while, but for me, I didn't even have an awareness of any of that stuff. I didn't even know what that looked like or felt like, but the more that I asked questions, the more that I was guided to where I'm at right now.
And that I'm just going to hit up on this of the weight of the world on your shoulders. That's when you have that tension and heaviness in your neck and shoulders. That's where when I start to get in a stressful state, that's where it shows up, my neck and shoulders. And it's always been for me in my life that I have to solve all my problems on my own. I have to solve other people's right? It just settles right in here. And people who we're all energetic beings, but people who are absorbing energy, I had to think of the words, who are absorbing the energy basically unconsciously, or feel like they have to take on everyone's problems or the world's problems, and they're absorbing that energy. That's something to be, I just want to hit up on this right now because it's happening. That's something to be very aware of, especially right now because of what's happening in other countries. And when you're getting that space where you feel like you have to take on the weight of the world, solve the world's problems or everybody else's problems, you're the one suffering. Your physical body is suffering because you feel like it's your responsibility to solve these problems. Well, we don't have control over what's happening in other people's lives, nor do we have any control over what's happening in other countries. And so the best thing you can do, again, it's first of all sending love to yourself because you're being distracted from your own energy, and send love outward to other people, to other countries. And it's better for you to shift your energy in a higher vibrational state, because that higher vibrational state is affecting thousands and thousands of people. It may not seem like it, but it really is. So as we've talked about before, you can't be poor enough to make a homeless person rich, and you can't be sick enough to make somebody else well. The higher vibration you are within your body, the more you are affecting the energy of this planet, all the beings of it. I was just at a 2-day retreat this past weekend, and that was something that was part of our conversation was, the heaviness in the energy and the sadness of what's happening, because the people in other countries right? There are mothers who have children in the war, like sisters, brothers, aunts, uncles, right? Like, we're all humans, and we can all relate to that position of having your child or a family member or a friend in the military, and understanding their emotional state when there is a war that's happened. And to be in a space of sadness or fear or anger, when we do that, I know it's very it's still, there's sometimes I have to process it, that it's very uncomfortable to say, well, my son's in the military and he's in war, and I'm supposed to be joyful and happy and having a great day. Raise your vibration to the best of your ability to a higher state than anger, than a higher state than sadness, and send love out. Give love to yourself first and foremost, and send that love out. That is the best thing we can do in this at any given time, at any moment, at any given time of your day. Doesn't matter what's going on in the world. Sending love out, saying uplifting prayers, and being in a higher vibrational energy to the best of your ability.
And it's recognizing those things that show up for you, like you're talking about fear and anger and all that stuff. Those are emotional triggers. So then you have to ask, why is it showing up for you? And also, just because you're seeing things that are being portrayed a certain way does not necessarily mean that's the way it is.
Right.
So, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's out there right now that has been used from different other situations that have happened in movies and some other stuff. So it's like, that goes back to trusting your intuition. Your intuition knows the truth. And it's the same thing as when we're raising our children. I cannot make all their mistakes or live their life and allow them to live that life, because then I'm robbing them if I'm trying to fix everything around them. So I don't know why these things are showing up for people. But like you said, for me, it's to be in a high vibration. If you're in a high vibration and in a space of love, love is the only thing. There really is. You've got, we've talked about, you have love or you have fear. Fear doesn't live in love. Love, they say love conquers all. Love does. Love is everything. So it's to be in that space, to honor yourself and trust your intuition. Something doesn't feel right or doesn't look right, or if it's, people know how to feed on other people's emotions. So they show you stuff that, keeps you into that space and lowers your vibration, and that you allow yourself to go into if you so choose to go into that direction. But the bigger picture, there's a bigger picture. There's always a bigger picture.
Even sending love to the perpetrator, the abuser, the person who declared the war, sending love to them. Because the more anger that is fed in that direction, the more it's amplified. And just like you said, love conquers all. The more people are sending love to a situation, the more there's going to be a solution or a different outcome than what was anticipated, a shift in the leader who is creating the chaos, right? It's just love. The energy of love is the best space for anyone to be in.
Otherwise, you're just throwing gasoline on a fire.
That's it. That's exactly right. And those that have chosen to go into the military, that was their choice. That was a choice that they made to go do that. What can we do for them? Pray for them and send love to them. Surround them with love. See them safe. See them having a higher vision for them and their life than from being in a space of fear. And really, when we think about it, the space of fear, if somebody's in the military and in an area of war, that the space of fear is they're going to die. So here we are back at fearing death when there is no separation. There is oneness, and we still are connected to those who have chosen to cross over in whatever way that might be. Some people die from lightning. Some people die from a meteor hitting them. Some people die from a car accident. Some people die from drugs. Some people die from a stabbing or a shooting. I mean, heart attacks. We don't know when our time is, and we don't know how that is going to look like for our transition. It is up to our spirit and I don't really like to use the word contract. Like, our contract with God is my spirit's going to be here for so long, and an agreement. How's that? It's our spirit's agreement as to how long they're going to be here based on what they came to learn. So we have no idea what that's going to look like. And it's helping people understand that we don't need to fear death. We've had this conversation many times, and we did a conversation on grief, and we also did a conversation on past life. And so go back, for the audience, go back and listen to those videos. So when someone transitions, they're transitioning back into love, pure love, absolute pure love. And we still have a connection with them. And from my viewpoint, I have more of a connection with somebody who is in spirit than I do when they are in the physical body, because when they're in the physical body, they're dealing with all their bullshit. They're dealing with their emotional state, their mental state. They're dealing with the I'm not good enough stories. They're dealing with their history, their choices, their decisions, their shame, their guilt, their anger. Like, they have a whole package that they are giving attention to while they're in the physical body. When they drop the physical body, return back to spirit, they're in a space of love. And now all of that whole package has been released, dropped. So I have more access to their true being when they're in spirit.
True. I agree.
And I love it. I embrace it. I'm like, all right, got one more person on my spiritual team. That's awesome. And I relish in it. And I'm like, I know you're going to help me. And I call upon them when I know that when I know what their particular gifts or skills were in the physical form. If I encounter something of similarity, I'm like, all right, so I need your help here with this project or this problem, or right, helping me find a solution. I have more direct access to them. When they're in the physical form, what is it? I don't have time. I don't know when I can get with you. I don't know. Right? They have all these dynamics that are happening, and they're not readily available. Spirit is always available. Always, always, always. No matter what time of day or what's going on, they are always available. And always. I love that. I love that.
You have more just with the people that have transitioned for me in my life. I have more access to them now than I did before, even though they were here in the physical all the time. And see, this is something that I know and I've learned and I've felt things. So it's getting to that space, and also remembering, if you were the one that had left, would you want your family members and friends and everybody to be sad and depressed all the time because you left? No. I want them to be out here having a blast. Like, so that's a good reminder for yourself. It's like, was my loved one wanting me? Would they have been sad for me? Or rephrase, would I want them to be sad for me if I wasn't here? No, I want them celebrating life, because I want to be there right along with them when they're celebrating life. Right. Because, like, go back to, we had access all along. There's nothing that separates us. We had that conversation going back and talking about, we think that there's separateness because we're in separate bodies, but there is nothing separate. I read a book recently, and it was, I think it was Julia Cannon. It's Dolores Cannon's daughter. And she had done a drawing of what she had seen, what had came through for her, and it showed our bodies. And then it showed like this energy coming off the person's head. And it was this huge umbrella, bigger than we can't fathom it.
Right.
That was our spirit. That was our energy. So we're in this teeny tiny little speck of a thing, and we've got all this energy that's outside of us, which means that we're all connected all the time. There is nothing that disconnects us. It just doesn't. If you think about someone, you're automatically pulling their umbrella basically, or their energy to you. You're automatically thinking of them. That's why if you think of someone and all of a sudden they call you a few minutes later, that's why. It's because that we have this constant connection. It's not anything special with people. I mean, it's it's special, but we all do it. We all do it. I can stand in front of someone, and if you're having pain, I can tell you, I'll identify the pain where they're getting it at, and goes right to the area of the body. We're that sensitive. We are all that sensitive, but it's because I've become more in tune to it. I've have an awareness to it. I've cultivated it. We all have this natural intuition abilities, all of us. And it's like, it's a new language, right? That's what you've talked about, learning the new language when people pass or transition, that we're just having to learn a new language because the communication is different than us verbally having these conversations. Not always, because we can hear them. That's possible, but sometimes we're not in that space that we're able to hear them at that time. Maybe you're going to feel their energy, maybe, because for me, it was feeling the energy initially. It wasn't so much as hearing the stuff. And now I hear stuff, I hear more and more, but it's because I'm cultivating, I'm practicing, I'm making an effort to hear those things. I'm making an effort to see those things. I am constantly seeing things. People are walking by me. I'm at home. I'm out in the middle of 80 acres right now, and there is no life around us unless someone happens to drive by. So it's like, besides I can see the highway off in the distance, but there's like no one here, and I'm seeing people, I'm seeing stuff all the time now. It's because but I have an awareness for it, so I'm practicing towards it. I don't feel like there's a separateness. I feel like this is all natural, but it was just something that had to be cultivated. That's all. Because we unlearned a lot of this stuff, right? Because we got bombarded with all this information that came in that this is all of our natural God-given abilities and rights. It's all natural, just like freedom. All of it is. But we somewhere along the line, someone made us believe that we weren't free, or someone made us believe that we had to follow these rules, and this is the way life was. We just learned stuff that we're now unlearning. So we're remembering the other stuff. And we called it unlearning, but now I feel like I'm just learning new stuff. And it's like there's no room for all that stuff in my space anymore. Last week we talked about, going into your mansion, which is inside of your body, and then clearing out boxes. That's what's happening. Like a lot of that stuff, you start bringing in all this good light and stuff like that. The darkness can't hide in there anymore. Everything comes to the surface. Stuff sometimes you don't want to see, maybe, but once you do see it, you take away the power of that, whatever you didn't want to see, that situation, that person, and it's not a big deal anymore. It's like taking a balloon and deflating it. It's like, don't need it anymore.
Yes.
Just don't need it. And you're bringing all this wonderful stuff inside of you. That's always been there, and it's always been natural. And if you want to have a better life and a happier life, it's following your intuition. It's hearing that voice. It's practicing. It's cultivating. It's all the seeds have been planted. All the information's already there. And it's not pushing, trying to get this information to flow to you. It's already there. It's not something that's apart from you. It's inside of you. All of it. It's just slowing down and, paying attention to your ears. That was something that was silly to me. Paying attention to your ears, like really close your eyes and then start listening to all the sounds that are around you. Well, from there, you can go right into your body and start hearing all kinds of things. And then, of course, if you go into meditation, you can hear all kinds of things too. Everything has always been there, always.
So I see the balloon, and it's that we expanded the balloon with our old way of being, our old verbiage, and all the stuff, right? So we inflated this balloon with all of that. Open the mouth of the balloon, let it out, right?
Yeah.
And breathe in something new. It's a new story. It's a new perspective. It's a new focus. So the past, we can just say, yeah, I did some shitty things, made some horrible decisions. However, this is the outcome. This is where I'm at now because of it. This is how it contributed to my new way of being. This is me learning to be different and new and vibrant and loving and compassionate. It's about a new story. And that, as everything, we have a choice.
Oh yeah.
Right? We have the choice to create that new story. And that sounds a whole lot more fun than just keep telling the old crap.
Yeah. Because it doesn't feel good. Otherwise, you're warring within yourself. It's nothing, everything outside of you that's coming into your experiences because it's happening within inside of you. You're having a war, whatever it may be, inside of yourself. And it's like, come together with yourself. Start seeing how everything changes outside of you by just doing the stuff on the inside of you. All the other stuff is a distraction. It's just drawing your attention to something. Sure, send it love and light.
Yeah.
And then get back to working on yourself.
And that's one thing. If you're focused on the war and you don't like what's happening, turn that inward. What kind of war is going on within yourself? The war is, I don't like the choices and decisions I made. The war is the blaming. This person did this to me, and so that's the way I am. That's the way I am. That is why I am the way I can't even say it. That is why I am the way I am, because they did this to me. Right? You have your own war going on within yourself. You cannot, first of all, you don't have control over any war that's happening in any country, even our own, other than being in a space of love. So how about you take control and shift the war that's going on within yourself? It is, and a lot of it is about changing your perspective. People will say it's mindset. Change your mindset. I say I use the word perspective all the time. Change your perspective, because it's the way you're seeing the situation. It's the way you're seeing the outcome of the situation. And typically it all is negative. When you change your perspective about seeing it from a space of love, seeing it from a higher vibration, seeing it through a higher awareness, you will get a whole different perspective. Completely will shift it. And then you take that information and move forward.
Seeing it from a space of love, because you don't know. I mean, let's just say that the war is getting rid of mafia or some people that are in that space that have been running and killing people in a certain area that are the people that were indigenous to that area. Let's just say that's going on, and what's going on is being perceived that someone's being this mean person, but maybe they're just removing some of these people that are out that have a lot of other bad things that they're doing in the space. And it's very possible there's a lot of things that we're not aware of. We're only told things that ways that we can be controlled. So it's like going back to that same space. It's even in the space of yourself. If you ever find things that you're warring against or you're upset about the way you treated people in the past, so guess what? You're not that person anymore. You don't behave that way anymore. Why would you keep punishing yourself? That's like a war. And when you see things in a certain way, then you're seeing things from a perspective of a victim. So it's also recognizing that you're showing up as a victim again. And it doesn't mean that you're doing anything wrong. It's just another way of having an awareness and taking a look at yourself and wondering why you're approaching it this way. Because there's always a higher perspective. There's always a higher perspective. And the higher perspective does not feel the same in any way, shape, or form as far as a victim, anger, hate, none of that stuff. You see things for how they are. Just like if someone's bullying you or you've seen a bully, it's like this is the only way they know how to be in life right now, because that's how they were raised. It doesn't mean it's good or bad, but it's also like sending love and light to that person, like you've already said, sending love and light to that person, because this is where they're at on their journey right now. hooray that you're at this space that you can see that as it doesn't feel good. That's not nice. Other people don't always see it that way. So it's just sending love and light. But that goes all the way back to, sending love and light to yourself and unpacking those boxes, letting go of those balloons, quit carrying that bag of shit around with you that you've been carrying around your whole life. It's all this. There's so many ways we can say it, but it's all comes back to the same thing. It's an inside job. This is our world. We're creating our world right now. Is that what you want in your world? Nope. Send it love and light. And what do you see how would you like to see it? How does your world look? Is it peaceful? Is everyone happy? Yeah. Why not?
And what comes to me, yesterday I read a story about an incident about a 12-year-old boy and his bully. And it's the same. It's like, yes, we feel the pain, or we empathize with the person who is being bullied, and we want to blame the bully. We want to, shame him. And the bully needs love.
Yeah.
The bully needs love, because this person wouldn't be in a space or title of being a bully if he was receiving the love in his environment. And just recognizing that people are doing what they know how to do with the information and knowledge they have. If they're being bullied at home by their own family or their own siblings, that is what they know. That is how they know to show dominance. And that's what they're going to do for their own survival. So they bring it out into the world. And in having us learning to have more compassion for them, and again, you can pray for them, you can be in just send them love and light, but your energy is going to affect thousands upon thousands of people based on what you have going on within yourself, negative or positive, lovingly or angrily. I mean, it's up to you. I personally, so if you want to experience peace in this world, you definitely have to have peace within yourself. You need to know what peace feels like. We have never experienced peace on this planet for us to know what that looks like. But we cannot have peace on this planet unless we have peace, unless every individual has peace within themselves. You're talking about billions of people. To get billions of people in one moment to have peace within themselves. So we know that each of us, even though we are in separately physical beings, we are energetic beings, that we have the contrast because we are continuously learning and growing from each other. We have stuff to learn about ourselves through each other. And that's what Bev started out with, was talking about that. I'm just always learning and growing. And people show up to help you do that. That's the contrast. That's the contrast.
And it shows up as you're ready, always.
Absolutely. And the more you're in a fearful state, the more contrast you're going to get based on that. The more you're in a loving state, the more experiences you're going to get from that. It's our choice, right? It's our choice.
Always a choice, always.
And I feel like when it comes to having a choice, it's learning to stop blaming. Stop blaming other people for, they did this. Yep, they did do it. What are you going to do with the information? It's your choice. That's been my word for like over a year. Choice.
Yeah. So stop punishing yourself. Stop bullying yourself. Because a lot of that stuff, it all goes hand in hand. Really, it really does. Because if a person, when you were talking about punishing, or the way they were talking to a bully, basically he's getting exactly what he was giving. And that doesn't always work. when you get pushed, you push back always.
Yeah.
I do. I mean, that's been my nature for my whole life. I have matched energies with people. So it is sending love, because then that throws you off balance. It's like, wait a minute, what is this? And it's the same thing for self. Quit punishing yourself, quit bullying yourself, talk to yourself like you're your best friend, be nice to yourself. See what your favorite stuff is. Like, that's finding your passions, and be the light. Like, you've got to, it's a matter, it's a choice again. So it goes back to the same thing you said. It's a choice. Let the light in. It's time. You can carry all those boxes within you. You can be a hoarder all you want, but you're not letting the light in. You might let a little bit of trickle come in, but the more you clear out your stuff and on the inside of you, the more that light comes in and flows and shines from within you out.
Stop being an asshole to yourself.
Oh, shit. That's a true story right there.
Enough people have been that way towards you. Stop doing it to yourself.
Yeah. Learn from it, move past it, and go live some freaking life.
Yes. Change it up. Change it up. Because life could be a whole lot better and a whole lot more enjoyable. You create your world around you based on how you're being. And how you're being, most importantly, how you're being to yourself.
Good times.
For real. It's good. Go do some writing and burning, I'm telling you.
And that's always a good time. It doesn't have to be during a full moon, but full moon's just another way, it's just a good reminder, like, hey, have you done that lately? And notice the emotions that come up for you when you do something like that too. It can be very freeing. You might have some crying.
Yeah.
That's fine.
It
doesn't hurt. It's a good rain.
And the big thing is that you're treating yourself the way you're treating yourself because of the way somebody treated you that way when you were younger. And you're just hanging on to that pattern, that behavior, and you haven't given yourself the opportunity to do anything different. And you can't do anything different until you actually acknowledge what it is you don't like. There's got to be an acknowledgement. Oh, this is how I'm showing up for myself. Well, that kind of sucks. I am being an asshole or an abuser to myself. Okay, I don't like that, and I want to change that. Now your transformation can begin.
It's true.
And it's up to you.
All the time.
Nobody can make you do it, right?
No one can make you do it.
Nobody can make you do it. You would love to have somebody else do it for you, but no, that's on you, boo. It's your responsibility.
That's true.
And that's the biggest thing is people showing up for themselves. So what's the hardest thing about meditation? Showing up. What's the hardest thing about getting your body in shape? Showing up, whether it's to the gym or the yoga studio or Pilates or whatever. The biggest thing, showing up. So what's the biggest thing about changing who you are? Showing up. Getting that pen and paper, start writing and burning, journaling, looking for things to be grateful for, changing your perspective about your experiences in life. That's all internal stuff. It's all internal. And the hardest part is showing up for yourself. Scheduling time with yourself, scheduling an appointment with yourself to give you time to do your own inner work.
And how ridiculous is it? Meditation's like the easiest thing. I mean, it really is. If call it whatever you want to, stillness is the easiest thing. It is. And what you get from it is so huge.
Yes.
And it's like, it's not, why, again, why are you punishing yourself? Because that goes back to the same thing. Why would you want to be in an angry, pissed off mood and tired and exhausted and feel all those things at one time versus taking 5 minutes for stillness? Because that 5 minutes of stillness replenishes you. It does. It raises your vibration. And it's like, and I don't have good answers for this stuff. Because, I think that once you're in that space of, bullying yourself and picking on yourself and ridiculing yourself, you obviously aren't enjoying being in the space of anger or in a rush or any of that stuff. And you're not going to get there any faster. Things aren't going to get done any faster. Life isn't going to go where you want it to go, like right now, because you're not allowing it to go there right now. You're too busy holding on to what? And that's asking yourself, what am I holding on to? Honestly, why am I holding on to this?
Why am I holding on to this? Yeah.
Yes, because that's like
Do I need to hang on to this anymore?
Yeah, it's so crazy, the stuff that we do. And I say it's crazy that we do because I do it. I've done it.
Yeah.
It's like, why? I could be pissed off and tired for hours or upset about whatever circumstance, the way someone didn't behave around me. And then it's like, I could go take 5 minutes for meditation and then totally feel different. And that situation is like water off a duck's back, I guess, because it just doesn't, that's how effective it is. It's gone. It doesn't matter because it's not my stuff. And that's remembering it. When some of these people that you encounter in your life, it's like, okay, why is this showing up for me? Because the way they're acting has nothing to do with you. That's from their old programming. It's their old tools. It's their old bag of shit they're carrying around with them. And It's not to take offense to. It's just to be like, why is this showing up for me? Because I can be happier than this right now. And it's like, I've noticed that. Why would I? Okay, so that's where you're at right now. That's not where I'm at. I don't have to match that energy anymore. But I was trained. I feel like I was trained to be aware of everybody else's energy. I was trained to be, in the space, to be able to communicate with that person. I had to be at this level, and it's not even true. It's not even true. I could be a higher vibration and not accept or take on any of their stuff.
We were trained to keep our light dim.
Yeah.
Stay small.
And that's because they were trained to keep their light small. You know what I mean? It goes on to everybody else. That's what we learned. We don't have to be that way anymore. And we're busting loose from it.
Yeah. It's the generational patterns.
Yeah.
And now we have new information, new knowledge, so we can be and do different. Not that fucking hard.
No, that's the thing. But that's the thing. How many of us have been looked at things and it's like it's complicated? And I've felt the energy recently. There's been quite a few things. It's just simple tasks to do something, and it's like, oh my God, this is like, why is this feeling like I'm trudging through quicksand or whatever? And it's like, well, Friedman says, well, at least you're moving through it and you're not just thinking in it.
Moving.
I'm like, yeah, you're right. But no, it's the same thing. It's just being aware of the energies around me. Well, I can be aware of it, but I don't have to stay in it. It's so simple. We've made it feel like it's got to be so hard, or I'm going to have to dig my way out of it. No, if I just think happy's house, I'm going to float my way out of that. I don't need to trudge to get out of it. I don't need someone to come in here and throw a lifeline for me. The lifeline's in you.
And the more you support yourself, the more you have support around you.
Absolutely.
So you're
goes back to low back pain.
One person there supporting you, helping you get out. You're going to have a whole tribe, a whole team, a whole community helping you get out, because they're going to show up for you the way you show up for yourself.
Truth. You want a romantic partner? Be your romantic partner.
Yes.
If you want, because it's like you be what you want. Be to yourself the same way that you want to be treated. Exactly. And that's so simple, right? Because if you're not, then it's shown up for you the same way you've been showing up for yourself.
Yes.
It's just more harsh when someone else is doing it to you because you've been kicking your own ass all these years.
Well, it's easier to blame somebody else than it is take responsibility for yourself.
Yeah.
And that's the showing up part.
Yeah.
External is easier than internal. I'm here to tell you internal is a whole lot easier and better. It's better to take care of it because your internal is creating your external. That's like, that was great. You could quote me on this. It's better to take care of your internal because your internal is creating your external. I just had to hear myself say it again because that was great. That was brilliant. We've said it so many ways. I've never said it that way. And sometimes it's a matter of what the words that are used and how it is said that get your attention.
True.
So, and that's what we intend to do every week when we show up for you on Tea Time with Amie and Bev, to bring you information, knowledge, and wisdom from us as to what works for us and from our perspective to help you on your life journey. So, and you know somebody who could benefit from this information as well. So be sure to share these videos or recordings with your friends and family, coworkers, doesn't matter. You know somebody who needs to hear it. So we appreciate you, your time and energy for hanging out with us. You could be doing anything else with your life and you chose to spend it with us. So thank you so much. Do you have any other words, Miss Bev?
Just be the light in the world.
Be the light in the world and emanate love everywhere you go. You can find us on Facebook, YouTube, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, Podcast Addict, Spreaker, and Spotify. And you can also reach out to us in the email at amieandbev@gmail.com. amieandbev@gmail.com. I don't know why I'm having such a hard time articulating my sentences today.
You're doing fabulous.
I think my brain is working faster than my mouth. I think that's my issue right now. So much great stuff is happening. Anyway, thank you so much for being here, and we appreciate your time and energy, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you. Bye.